Celaena was the lost queen of Terrasen. Chaol sank to his knees.
So good, especially since it was Chaol telling us this. I was like,
And the fact that he sank to his knees.
yeah, that was the cherry on top.
I mean, guys,
on top.
I'm sweating. I'm like getting goosebumps right now. All hell's breaking loose here on my body. Okay, it's crazy. Hey guys, Nina here, and today I'm hosting my friend again, Eva.
Hi.
For those of you who don't know, we're doing the Throne of Glass series, and she's joining me for all of them basically, because I think it's more interesting to talk about them with a friend. She's a first-time reader, so she's never, this is her first time ever reading Sarah J. Maas, actually, right?
Yeah, I have. Well, I did the first book of the series.
Well, yeah, this is
that's it.
but this, she hasn't read ACOTAR, nothing, so she knows nothing. While I've already discussed ACOTAR on this podcast, I've already read Throne of Glass 2 times, and yeah, now we're doing it again. I haven't read the first 2 books again, just because they're my least favorite of the book series. I feel like after this book, this series actually really begins, and it gets really good.
I mean, I only read the first 2 books. I kind of disagree with the second book. I think it's really interesting. I also like it because my ship comes true. Well, at the start of it. But, it's complicated. What relationship isn't.
Yeah. I mean, guys, if you've listened to our first episode, you know that Eva was super excited about Chaol and Celaena. And I was just making faces about it, but I haven't spoiled anything to her. We still don't know what happens. They might be in a situation right now. We don't know what's gonna happen with them, but it might get solved.
There were very obvious faces telling me that my hopes are gonna die.
Well, I like teasing you like that, you know. I mean,
you were pulling my leg?
I might have been.
Or are you bullshitting me now?
Well, you never know, right? I love it. I love it so much. I love it when I discuss a TV show or a book with a friend who, is doing it for the first time, and I already know all of the answers. I find it to be so fun. I feel like I'm in control, It's so good.
You're writing the narrative and I'm just following along.
Yeah, pretty much. I love it. I'm obsessed. And before we start, guys, just so you know that there will be spoilers for The Crown of Midnight, for the second book. Obviously, we're going to be discussing our thoughts and feelings, everything that happened. But as for the rest of the series, all of the other books, nothing, just the first 2, obviously. Yeah. Thank you for that visual. Very helpful. Anyways, I guess we'll just dive right in. So we're discussing Crown of Midnight, obviously the second book in the Throne of Glass series. And just so you guys know, Eva hasn't read the prequel yet. Yeah, why haven't you read it? Explain.
I obviously know that Sam dies because it's implied. I haven't read it because this is how the books were written. So the prequel comes last, and I wanted to experience the books as they came out. Mm-hmm. So all of you readers did, that you read it while they were going out.
Yeah.
Or earlier, before the prequel was even written. And there is also a different style in writing, right? As I understand with the prequel. And of course, the author is more matured, has more experiences. Of course, it's going to be different.
True. But just so you know, I don't think the prequel was actually written last.
Really?
No, I don't think so. I think it's somewhere in the middle. So if you want to read it chronologically, you might check the dates just to be sure. We're not going to discuss the prequel here. You're going to have to just do that on your own, and then But
I already know. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
I already know I'm going to set myself for heartbreak with the prequel.
Yeah.
Why would I read that?
I know that was my thought process, guys. I also, the first time I read the prequel was actually this year, and I've discussed it on this podcast with my previous co-host. And I also didn't want to read it before, just because I know that Sam dies. And based on everything Celaena told us throughout the series, he was such a sweetheart. Why would I wanna read about this kid dying?
She has Chaol now.
She has
and probably
Chaol now.
till the end of the series, maybe? Are you making faces again, Nina?
Not this time. I'm just observing you.
We shall see.
She has Chaol, and she has Dorian too.
As a friend.
Of course. Whatever.
Even though it's starting to look like this is going to be a trope, but let's Dial it down a bit.
Yeah, let's tone it down. Okay, let's get down to business. So this book starts off with Celaena being the badass assassin, supposedly. So she's now the king's champion and she has to kill all of his enemies. I mean, he basically tells her who to kill and she has to do that. And she has to bring him their heads, so he has proof. But, of course, Celaena hates the king. So, of course, she doesn't want to support him by killing the people who are probably, trying to save slaves and are actually on the good side. So she just finds kind of bodies and just brings their heads to the king and says that they're that person, while to the actual person she's supposed to kill, she actually tells them to run away and hide and gives them a false identity, and bless her heart.
But fun fact, she was actually getting up to kill the first person. She was actually going to do it until she noticed how kind he was to his servants.
Right. Correct.
And then she's like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then she started questioning it, and then she gave everybody a choice.
Yes.
And because the missions were far away, the bodies had time to decompose, so the king was none the wiser.
Yeah.
And they all choose to part with their names and their possessions that marked them as whatever the fuck they were.
Yeah, true. Well, I'm just happy that she didn't go through with it. But of course, it was kind of funny reading it from Chaol's and Dorian's perspective for a while, because they didn't know that she was lying. So especially to Dorian, it was really hard for him to digest that this is the girl that he was in love with, that he is in love with, right? That she's now murdering people and she's so cold about it, and she just waltzes into that throne room and all badass and brings the head like it's not a big deal. That's really hard for Dorian to comprehend, especially since he's lived such a guarded life in his little bubble, nothing really harms him, nothing really touches him, he's a prince, so this is all very too much for him.
Yeah, that, and he doesn't like that she seems to enjoy it.
Yeah.
She comes with a smirk like she's getting high of it. Like it's an addiction or something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
But you could see when you read the first book in her point of view, you were gonna see it. She's not gonna do it. I was skeptical at the start when you start reading, we did a 180, right? No,
yeah.
No, we didn't.
Of course not, yeah. It's true. I also knew that she wasn't going to go through with it. But yeah, you actually guessed this. She actually said in the first episode that she thinks that she's going to come up with a plan to not do it. But yeah, when I was reading it for the first time, I was kind of wondering, how is she going to pull this off? How is she... Because it is quite complicated to just tell the person she's about to kill, yeah, now you have to just move away, start a new life.
It takes great trust and trust of character. So she had luck with the first few.
True.
And then we came to Finn.
Is it Finn? Finn Archer, right?
Finn Archer, but it's he's always introduced an Archer in the book.
Yeah.
The Finn name is not used that much, yeah.
Archer is kind of a cool surname, if you ask me. Yeah, Archer was an interesting one, especially because he was... So... As we know now, she was raised by a Robin. He was her mentor of the assassins, while Archer, he was raised by this madam. Do you remember her name?
It was something complicated, and I forgot.
Of course, all of the names.
All as Sarah J. Maas. Why? The names, why? And every time you see somebody says it differently, it's just, why? No, but I digress. Anyway, it pains me every time I read the name.
I know.
Chaol.
Chaol
is to Chaol when I read it.
And for me, it's Chaol. For me, it's Chaol.
And I'm Chaol. Like the vegetable. Come on, go back. No, but yeah, I don't know the madam. I just remember that she took him when he was, I think, 12 from the streets. And then at 17, she had a big bidding party who will take his virginity.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Well, they both grew up in awful circumstances. And what I liked most about Archer was honestly seeing Chaol jealous.
Oh, yes.
That was really cute.
Was fun. That was fun.
That was so fun.
That was fun. And when it's not going to lead anywhere, I was like, oh, is my ship going to happen? And then it did. I was so happy.
I love jealousy tropes. I always love it when the main character is jealous of someone. I don't know. I just dig that. It's hot.
I love the feelings. I love when it's pure.
Yeah.
And when it takes time to develop. I feel like with Dorian, it was too quick in book 1.
Yeah.
It was like magic. You see what I did there, right?
Yeah. I see. Yeah, I agree. I love it when it's a slow burn.
Yes,
For
those
sure,
are the
for
best.
sure. But like I said, in the first time I read this, I was 16 years old, so I was kind of used to that trope of, Prince Charming and the princess.
Aww.
So, the first boy that the main character meets, that's the love of her life. That's the
fairy
one.
tales.
Basically. So that's why when I was 16, I was kind of convinced that, yeah, Dorian was the one. They might come across certain, obstacles, but he's endgame. And then when Chaol came along, I was so confused what the fuck is going on. But then when they kind of, in the second book, now they're like broken off, I got my hopes up again for Dorian. But the second book, then what?
But is he ending though?
I'm not telling you anything. You're not getting spoilers from this. I'm just saying what my thought process was when I read it the first time. I'm not really spoiling anything. He might be or he might not be. Yeah, you're not getting anything from me.
That poker face was great.
I know. I'm pretty good. We'll see. But yeah, I was very curious where this was going. I was so confused whether it was going to be Chaol or Dorian. But I do remember that the first time I read it, like, even though I did kind of believe that Dorian was the one and all of that, and I found him cute, I also really, really liked her with Chaol. And the first time I read it, I actually, after she got with Chaol, I shipped them more than I shipped her with Dorian.
Yeah, because it was very natural.
Yeah.
And I really like it. She took time to get to know Chaol. And we have instances, like, it goes from the dance to the fact that when she is poisoned, when she kills that... I forgot his name. Was it David? I don't know. In the mansion that she's invited to.
I know who you mean, that politician.
That politician, something that was kind of shifty.
Mm-hmm.
Then when she kills him and he poisons her, the first person she runs to be safe is Chaol and his office.
Yeah.
And when they eat cake together, and then when they dance and Dorian sees them and he's jealous.
Oh my
and
God.
then when for his birthday she organizes a dinner with all his favorite meals in that enchanted garden. And then they just get. That was like, oh.
That was the cutest. In that moment,
I was happy.
I just love how Chaol always just knew what to do to make her feel better, and I also really love how she knew about him, like what he needs. It just like it didn't need to be spoken. It was just like, you just know. That's what love is, when you know what the other person needs without them having to say anything, I think. And I feel like it was really beautiful when she wrote him like the will. She wrote the will in case she died, and she actually left everything to him. And it wasn't just financial, it was actually the fact that he didn't have to go back to his family, because she knows how much he values his freedom and the fact that he doesn't. Yes, and that he doesn't want to be part of that. That's why she did it. It wasn't even about the money.
Yeah, and I like that she and he, her, and she, him, they get each other. You know? Like, that to me is what love is. You get the person, you get his desires, what he likes. When you do go the extra mile to know what kind of food you like, what kind of goals you have in life, when it shows that you care, it's something that you can't buy, that you have to actually put effort in. And that's why I shipped it so much.
Me too. I have to admit that, in the second book, I was all about them. They were really cute, and I understood why she fell in love with him. And also the way she spoke about him in her thoughts, how the world needs more men like him, and how after Sam, she never thought she was ever gonna meet a man as pure and as kind. And now she has. Yeah. And I actually want to read a quote.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Did his parents have any idea that in the entire castle, in the entire kingdom, there was no one more noble and loyal than him? That the boy they'd thrown out of their lives had become the sort of man that kings and queens could only dream of having serve in their courts. The sort of man that she hadn't believed existed. Not after Sam. Not after everything that had happened. I mean, I feel like Sarah J. Maas does a really good job at that emotional kind of turmoil that the characters go through. That's where her strength lies, I feel like.
And it's very good. And the fact that after the dinner, she also told him she didn't kill any of the people.
Yeah.
And then he was still like, we can run away together.
Yeah.
Even though he built his whole life around his captain position in a way, and she also knew that, but he was still, for you, I would.
Exactly.
And I was like, for her, he would.
Yeah. We're we're fangirling here hardcore. And not just that, also from her perspective, you know, she hates the king. She hates this kingdom. And yet she still wouldn't let him sacrifice that for her because it means so much to him. You know, even if she doesn't agree with it, she still wants him to stay true to himself.
Yeah, she understands
exactly
his thought process and his morals.
I mean, they're like a really good match here. I feel like they really get each other. Yeah.
Well, they did up to a point until Nehemiah died.
Let's talk about that then, shall we? Did you expect Nehemiah dying, by the way?
No. I did. I mean, I saw it like foreshadowed a bit when the king told Chaol that he needs to pay special attention just on Nehemiah and then he gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shifty. And then the warning comes from a Archer, right? Mm-hmm. Archer is how it's pronounced. Like, this is not gonna lead anywhere good, is it? And I got, okay, so I didn't expect it, but by then I was like, okay, this is building up to something. This is probably gonna be it. And then she dies. What I did not expect more, though, is fucking the reaction from
Celaena.
Celaena, sorry.
It's fine. Her name is awful.
From Celaena.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Explain that to me. I did not understand it at all. And why the fuck she attacked Chaol? I didn't get it. He was not... I just didn't get it. Please explain.
I mean, do you remember that when she was, when she rescued Chaol from Archer, and then Archer told her that Chaol knew about this meeting that was gonna happen with the king, like trying to interrogate Nehemiah, right?
Oh, okay.
So I feel like she blamed Chaol because if he told her that the king had intentions of interrogating Nehemiah, she would probably be more like, you know, cautious, and she would tell Nehemiah about it, and he might have prevented it somehow.
But it being at two places at once because Chaol was taken and Nehemiah was in danger makes no sense.
Yeah, that's true. But I think like she still lost Sam. You know, he was murdered brutally, and seeing Nehemiah there, like she was butchered.
Maybe it was the trauma.
Of course,
of course, it was the trauma coming up again. But why would you then dump it all on Chaol? I mean, it's like you don't know how to deal with your emotions, and the first person there is to blame, even though I think internally she was blaming herself.
Yeah, probably. And also the fact that, you know, she just got so invested into Chaol that she forgot about Nehemiah in a way, kind of.
Oh.
You know?
So it was like, for her, it was a self-realization, and then she was beating herself up. But instead of beating herself up more, she turned all that anger to Chaol, which was easier. Well, she's a teenager, of course.
But I don't know, like, I feel like if I was Celaena, I would also be mad at Chaol. You know, I would also just kind of be angry that he didn't at least warn me that something was up, you know, at least something. I kind of understand it from Chaol's perspective because he is serving the king. His loyalties supposedly lie with the king, and he's still at that point where he kind of isn't detached from that at all. So I get it from his perspective, but I also understand Celaena why she would just hold that against him a bit, you know, because she is as understanding as she can be, you know, she tries to be, she is there for him in that regard, but still it's kind of when a loved one dies then because of this undying loyalty that he has to a king that is awful, like just awful, of course you kind of snap.
Yeah, but not to the point that you want to kill the guy.
Yeah, that was
like, what
but
the
I feel
fuck?
like she was just lost in her rage, you know, when you're just so angry that you can't even think straight.
Yeah, you know, when I see those things written in books, I actually want them to go through with it, so kill them, so then you can be in pain for the eternity of your life for your stupid choices that you made.
Oh my god, that's brutal, Eva. But Celaena wouldn't deserve that.
Well, no, she had Dorian to save her from that. And with magic...
Oh my gosh.
That was hinted all through the whole book. I feel like him as a character, he grew a bit more in this book than in the first book.
A lot.
Especially since it was not all focused on Celaena, and his thought process was not all about her. And his life at court, which was what it was. So I found that he actually focusing off of that was commendable, and the fact that he got magic, something else to focus on, was also commendable. But it is interesting though, when, you know, they had that meeting that was before Chaol was abducted, what they want to do with the minds of the sister mind from... One was Endovir and the other one was something...
Caligula, something like that.
Yeah.
A weird name.
Yeah, with that mind, and they wanted to expand it. And the first he was not against it, but then he had a talk with Nehemia. Yeah, so him and Nehemia actually have a really good dialogue in this book.
I actually have a quote that I have to read now that you mentioned it. So this is what Nehemia tells him. You have power in you, Prince. More power than you realize. She touched his chest, tracing a symbol there too, and some of the court ladies gasped. But Nehemia's eyes were locked on his. It sleeps, she whispered, tapping his heart. In here. When the time comes, when it awakens, do not be afraid. She removed her hand and gave him a sad smile. When it's time, I will help you. With that, she walked away, the courtiers parting, then swallowing up her wake. He stared after the princess, wondering what her last words had meant, and why, when she had said them, something ancient and slumbering deep inside of him had opened an eye.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like,
Goosebumps.
finally, something is happening. Well, no, I didn't think he was gonna have magic. This started only in this book when it was with the shattering of the glass. I was like, definitely know where this is going now.
Yeah.
And I really liked it that he went out his way to research it, and I really like that it's maybe something more than him, because there was such a cold rage in that meeting for the second slave mine to be expanded, that he was just straight out no, and he has never been so decisive against the king to his face.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
I love Dorian's character growth in this book. I feel like Chaol's character growth was very obvious in the first book, you know, when he was starting to change his mind about Celaena. Here it was a little bit more subtle because he was already at the point where he understood that Celaena is more than just an assassin. But with Dorian, we discussed it in the first book that he's just very, like he's just so used to his life. There's nothing like, he's kind for sure, but that's all that he is. And here, he started to rebel, he started to speak out, he started seeing that, I am a fucking prince, you know, I have the power too. And the thing is with him that you can't even blame him for not doing that sooner, just because he was never really taught. You know, princes in actuality, they're always just kind of taught these things by the king. They have tutors, and I feel like this king doesn't really invest much in Dorian. I think he just lets him be the princeling that he is and just party and have girls, and that's it.
Yeah, but even in the first book, you can see the neglect from his father's side, that he was trying to stir up trouble, even with getting Celaena as a champion.
Yeah, exactly.
That was not sanctioned by his father. Not at all. That was a slap you to the face, a big fuck you to dear old dad.
Exactly. Yeah.
that I found was funny. But here you can see it, he's not afraid to say it to his face. Mm-hmm. Because before he was really afraid of the consequences he would face.
Yeah.
He was always very careful about tipping the line just enough, but not too much.
Yeah, very diplomatic about it. For sure. I agree. So I love Dorian here, and I also really love the fact that he has powers. I don't know, I just, you know, like Chaol, for example, he's the captain of the guard, so obviously he has some fighting skills, he's very trained, you know, so he's kind of badass in that way. Celaena, obviously she's an assassin, she's lethal. Well, Dorian, you know, he likes to read, so yeah, he's kind of intelligent and cute and all of that, but now he has power, you know? He might not be really good with a sword or whatever, but he has more than that, you know? Like, I love it. Just...
I can see your eyes sparkle, they're like, it's starting to come together now.
Yes. When he smashed that window, I was just done. I remember just closing my book, throwing it away, and just doing a victory dance, you know, like, yeah, little Dorian's growing up. Amazing. I love it.
No, I was really happy, and I really liked his character more now.
Yeah.
And I like that it was not all focused on Celaena. That was getting annoying fast.
Yeah, I agree. What I actually love about this book series, and this is not really a spoiler, is that it's actually very focused among different characters, you know? The first book was mostly Celaena, but the more and more you read, it's gonna be more spread out. And that's really good. Because I love multiple points of views. I love it when...
Yeah, it gives you different perspective, of course. And makes the story makes more sense, because...
Yes.
If you're looking at just from one person, it's very subjective.
Of course, yeah, it's kind of annoying. So I love this so much, and I can't wait for you to, you know, read even more. But
Suffer even more is what you're trying to tell me?
yeah, but okay, let's just step away from Dorian for a second and go back to Nehemia. So yeah, you said that you didn't expect her to die. I did not either. Honestly, that was really shocking to me, and especially in the way it was revealed. You know that she, like, all of her guards were just butchered. There was so much blood. You know, just like such a very
Gruesome scene.
yes,
Straight out of a horror movie.
Exactly.
In a way, Celaena should be thankful that Chaol was not there.
actually, yeah, because he might have died too.
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, she did realize eventually that it wasn't his fault.
Yes, I know. She does realize down the line the damage, however, has been done.
Yeah. It is what it is, right?
Oh, why?
Why?
It could have been better. That's not what I wanted.
I know.
I was so happy. It was like, we can run away together. And you know, at that point in the plot, you're like, they're gonna fuck this up. They're gonna fuck this up. Of course, if this is a part 2 of 7 books, eight with the
I think 8.
with the prequel, I'm like, they're gonna fuck this up. And they fuck this up. I don't like it when people meet my expectations. Please. Please don't do that.
Oh, I know. I mean, I felt the same way when I was reading this. I was very sad about it. But again, let's go back to Nehemia.
You know, I was gonna throw the book away, but then I was like, no, I can't do that. It's needed.
I think actually the first time I read it, I think I had to, when Nehemia was revealed to be dead and when Celaena just like attacked Chaol the way she did, I think I actually had to put it away for like at least a few days.
Oh, I did as well.
You did too?
I closed it. I wanted to throw it. I didn't throw it. I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm not reading this anymore. Let's go do something else.
Same. I actually needed a break. And that's very rare to happen. Like that something just affects me so much that I actually have such an emotional response that I can't even continue to read. Because
I was so mad.
Because personally, I'm a curious person. I always want to know what will happen next, you know, what's going on. But here, I didn't even care anymore. I was just like, no, fuck this shit, okay? I'm not reading anymore.
I was like, I knew you were gonna ruin it. You did, but did you have to? And then I tried a bit more. I was like, no, fuck this. Nope, nope.
Especially because I actually thought that Nehemia was gonna have a larger role. You know, I really thought that they were, you know, these best friends and they're gonna like conquer the world together and start a rebellion, the two of them.
She was really smart. And I was like, okay, this is gonna go somewhere. She had lots of roles in the books. Always a bit bigger role.
Yeah.
Helping the characters, the main cast, actually. I thought she was gonna go longer, actually.
Same. That was so shocking that she killed such an important character.
I thought that the first one to die was actually going to be Chaol.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna fuck it up this way. They were like, oh, bitch, you thought? Now he's dead.
You know what I thought when I read it the first time? I thought that, like, this is the type of book series where no one really dies.
Really?
You know, the type where the author just kind of teases you.
Like, Lord of the Rings, let's forget Boromir, but mostly everybody's alive except Boromir.
I mean, Boromir. But okay, fine. Yeah. Like, you know, the author just teases and just like always gives you these scare gems, but you know that they're gonna be fine. That's what I thought, you know, because this was the first time I read anything from Sarah J. Maas. I was very young, so I was kind of naive maybe. So yeah, this was very shocking and upsetting.
I feel like this is where the meme should go. Emotional damage!
For real. I might just insert it, or, you know, her impression of it was pretty good, so I might just leave that. But yeah, another thing from Nehemia that I want to read. So Nehemia, she also had, like, while she was alive, she had these meetings with Queen Elena, right?
Yes, true.
So you knew that something was up. And Nehemia was kind of really mad at Celaena for not doing more. You know, she thought when Celaena admitted to her that she's not actually killing these people, she thought that she's finally, you know,
doing something for the rebellion's cause.
Exactly.
But then always when it came time to act, she changed the topic, and Nehemia was getting annoyed. She's like, you're not doing enough.
Exactly.
It's not enough.
And I understood Nehemia because I was also annoyed at Celaena. I was like, look at what everything is happening. You have the power to maybe help like a princess here and just like, but I also understand Celaena that it's dangerous and she's been through so much. She's lost so much. Of course, she's going to be scared. Like, I understand both of them. But I also do remember that from a third party, you know, looking in, I was just kind of annoyed. I understood where Nehemia was kind of coming from.
Yeah, I got it as well, but I was like, you can't ask that much of her from this position.
Maybe,
when she's already on thin ice.
Yeah.
Like, why are you... Do you want her to be a rebel leader? How? She's gonna die.
Yeah, True.
Numbers always usually win against a very good opponent.
True.
If you have enough numbers, even that if that opponent is very good, there's a slim chance of them winning.
That's true.
Unless
that's
they're
true.
like god level in the book or series or anywhere.
Okay, so now I want to read something from Nehemia of her conversation with Queen Elena, actually. So, one of them has to break, the queen said to the princess. Only then can it begin. I know, the princess said softly, but the prince isn't ready. It has to be her. Then do you understand what I'm asking of you? The princess looked up toward the shaft of moonlight spilling into the tomb. When she looked back at the ancient queen, her eyes were bright. Yes, then do what needs to be done. The princess nodded and walked out of the tomb. She paused on the threshold, the darkness beyond beckoning to her, and turned back to the queen. She won't understand, and when she goes over the edge, there will be nothing to pull her back. She will find her way back, she always does. Tears formed, but the princess blinked them away. For all our sakes, I hope you're right.
Wait,
So what do you think this means?
Wait. I forgot about that part. Now I'm like... I remember reading that and thinking... shady. And also when the murder happened, now that we're talking about it, even more shady, because then it's like, did you plan your own murder in a sense? And judging from your impression on your face, I think I'm right here.
I don't have an impression at all on my face. I'm blank.
No, but it makes sense, like, in a way, if you want her to break, it has to be something traumatic, right? And the killing of a very good friend, almost best friend, would do that. And she did break, and then they said nothing will pull her back, and she did pull back. Because then the other part was she always pulls back.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So, in a way, but did that awaken something in her, though? I think that happened... Well, no way, it did lead to her opening a portal, and then going into that other dimension, again, to save...
Kill?
Chaol, yeah, but
And
not so Chaol.
Fleetfoot.
Fleetfoot, then Chaol went after Fleetfoot, so to go
So
together.
cute.
And then she discovered her heritage, and surprise, she is... Please pronounce the name, please.
Aelin Ashriver Galatinius. But that wasn't real there. It was just revealed that she's part Fae.
Yeah, that she's part of it, yes.
Yeah, which you already guessed that she is.
Yes,
In the
from
first-
the start, from
she guessed.
the eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. That was a good moment. And also this about Nehemia, that was a very interesting thing to say. And also I was very surprised that they spoke about Dorian in that way. Because I always thought, that like Celaena, she's the character, she is probably the one that's gonna save everyone. But they're talking about here, it's like Dorian has the same kind of power. It just depends who's gonna be there first. Prepared more.
And this is where I got the vibes that they're going to ship Dorian and
Celaena.
Fuck this name. they were going, this is going to be Endgame. And I'm just like, why? Please don't make it this obvious. Obviously, I don't know what the Endgame is. But please don't make it Dorian. It's too obvious.
But Dorian and Celaena are both so gorgeous. Like, they would make such cute babies if you think about it.
This is not what we're trying to think about here now. It would be too obvious. Please, I know the books are already written, but come on. Give me a
trying
break.
to manifest and change reality right
Yeah,
now.
manifestation. It works, supposedly. We'll see.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Yeah, I'm not saying anything, but yeah, sure. Okay,
Sus.
sus. So yeah, about her being Fae and all of that, that was also a really cool reveal. I mean, I also suspected, but it was still a cool reveal, I think.
Yeah, it was. For reveal, it was cool. Yeah.
But what did you think, like, before? So, it was revealed to us in the end that she's Aelin. But did you, like, guess that already while you were reading the book? Or was that a big shock to you when it was revealed at the end?
I thought that she had some connection to a princess, to being a princess or to the family. When Dorian was talking about the princess of...
Terrasen. Yeah.
And he used to play with her, but he doesn't remember her much. At that point, I was like... It wouldn't make sense if she was somehow that girl or somehow connected to that storyline.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why mention it?
Yeah.
It's such a useless fact.
I mean,
why mention it?
For me, it was like, so obviously this girl, Aelin, this princess, she probably is alive. I was convinced that she is alive and that we're probably gonna get more of her. And I did think that that Celaena is Aelin. It did cross my mind because she's already so powerful. But I was like... But come on, I mean, it's revealed to us now that she's Fae, she's also assassin, so does she have to be a princess too? You know, it's like too much. So I thought that it's kind of too obvious that now she's also the princess. So I thought to myself, maybe she's like a secret stepsister, or just like, yeah, in some kind of way connected to her, maybe knows her, and that's it. Because I didn't want to believe actually that the author is gonna be this cliche, actually.
Yeah, it was cliche. And when I heard that, and he was thinking maybe she would be his bride, I'm like, no, 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 Sarah,
Yeah,
no.
it's not Celaena. Like,
let's not do this, please.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and
It's like foreshadowing.
yeah, it does seem like that, but it was kind of cute. I mean, it was really cute to me to actually know that Dorian was playing with, you know, Celaena when she was little. That's cute, isn't it? I mean, regardless of what happens between them, just objectively speaking, it's cute.
It's cute, and it's also cute that he didn't had a very good vibe about her.
She was mean to him, which is so on point.
And sent her cousin again after.
That's so Celaena, you know, it's like, of course it's her. Like, hello.
Yeah, that was the point where I was like,
yeah,
I see you.
And also then, like, Archer was mentioning, you know, that they're like trying to rebel because there's rumors that Aelin is still alive, that they want to, you know, help her. So I was like, shit, you know.
I didn't like his character.
Of course not. Who did?
But at the start, I was like, okay, it's not.
He was
that bad.
charismatic, yeah, and he was super handsome, like the most beautiful man alive. That's how Celaena described him, actually. I was like, no, Chaol's the most beautiful man alive to you, asshole. You
No,
know?
I thought where I didn't like the character was when he was so pleading for his life that pathetically.
Yeah, that was the moment where I was like, that's so...
Where is your backbone?
And he even, like, it was so funny because he kind of he told her everything. He told her he basically killed Nehemia. He was like an asshole, and then he was pleading. And I'm like, you literally were stupid enough to tell her everything, and now you're like, what?
But the people with that kind of character exist in real life.
Yeah.
It's just I'm so disappointed by their existence. I'm trying to just imagine they don't.
Yeah.
I was like, how can you be this spineless? Where is the backbone? What do you stand on? You have to stand on something, right?
Of course. I mean, he just wanted his freedom, and he was just selfish in that way, and yeah.
But there has to be just more than just freedom, right?
Of course, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. He was probably raped a lot, and I mean, you know.
Okay.
You know, he probably went through a lot of shit too.
Yeah. Okay. No, that is understandable. But at that point, I would rather die. That would be me. I would be like, let's kill as much as I can, and then just.
I suppose you're right, yeah. Okay, I just want to read the moment when it was revealed to us that Aelin is, that Celaena is Aelin. Like, even though I suspected it, and I kind of didn't want it to be true, I wanted her just to be connected to Aelin. When it was revealed that she is Aelin.
How bad were you squealing up and down the house?
Yeah. Oh, you can't even imagine. My mom was terrified of me. She was like, "Are you having a stroke, girl? You know, are you all right? Should I call the doctor?" I was really out of my mind, and it was just a good reveal. Even though sometimes, you know, even when you suspect something's gonna happen, the way it's written is still so good that you're not angry about it.
Yeah, so it was cliche, but it's very well written. Therefore. We're happy.
We can work with that.
We're happy we can work with this.
Yes. Okay, so I want to read it now. Oh, so exciting. I'm gonna get goosebumps right now. So, Celaena Sardatian wasn't in league with Aelin Ashriver Galatinius. Celaena Sardatian was Aelin Ashriver Galatinius, heir to the throne and rightful queen of Terrasen. Celaena was Aelin Galantius, the greatest living threat to Adarlan, the one person who could raise an army capable of standing against the king. Now, she was also the one person who knew the secret source of the king's power, and who sought a way to destroy it. And he had just sent her into the arms of her strongest potential allies, to the homeland of her mother, the kingdom of her cousin, and the domain of her aunt, Queen Maeve of the Fae. Celaena was the lost queen of Terrasen. Chaol sank to his knees.
So good! Especially since it was Chaol telling us this. I was like...
And the fact that he sank to his knees.
Yeah, that was the cherry on top.
I mean, guys, I'm sweating. I'm like getting goosebumps right now. All hell's breaking loose here on my body, okay? It's crazy. And it was so good. And yeah, the fact that he sent her to Terrasen.
Yes.
He literally sent her to gain an army. Like, that's literally what he did. And the fact that that's just so ironic, because his thing is loyalty. He wants to protect his people, his kingdom, and he literally just did the opposite of that without even knowing.
Maybe it was his. Yeah. Well, you can argue he also has loyalty for Celaena.
Of course, that's true. But, his loyalty still, the strongest lies with Dorian and with his kingdom. Like, that's his identity, That's why Chaol is such a fascinating character, and sometimes it's also a bit annoying and frustrating, but, you have to respect the dude. Like, seriously, he's super loyal. But sometimes, blind loyalty is also kind of disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, blind loyalty, I could never, that's why I could never be a soldier. I couldn't just follow someone blindly without, questioning orders and is this the right thing, right? So, yeah.
It also comes to all things you do in life. Do you follow blindly or do you question it?
Yeah, for sure.
But you have to have it's not a scale, but it has to be measured, not to one too much and not the other too much.
For sure.
So if you're just questioning everything, good luck with your life.
Yeah, that's true. It has to be a balance.
And your tinfoil hat. Sorry.
That sounds actually pretty traumatic. Okay, you know what I was wondering? What do you think about... So, we have the king, we have Duke Barrington, and we have Roland, and they all have these weird rings.
Oh, I really thought the obsidian rings, right?
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Especially when she got into the hidden chambers in the library that led to that obsidian tower, I think it was.
Yes.
And then she fought a monster there with Dorian, which is the second time Dorian came to the rescue.
Yeah, such a hero, huh?
No. I'm seeing a pattern. I don't like it. But okay, we get it. And I thought that it was somehow connected to the portals, maybe to the source of magic, maybe to the dark creatures they're letting on.
Yeah, the
maybe
Wog.
It was the Wog. Maybe it was the power source, maybe for the Wog, especially the obsidian.
Mm-hmm.
The stone in itself had a tremendous meaning, and I thought it was a great way to identify people that are part of that circle. Just look for obsidian rings.
Yeah, these obsidian rings. I mean, obviously some kind of dark magic. Obviously part of. We don't know what the king's plan is, but it's obviously very. I mean, so when Aelin was discussing it with the witch told her about these 3 Valg princes or whatever they were that infiltrated their kingdom long ago, and then they were kind of defeated by, the Fae queens or something like that. And she mentioned that, I don't know what exactly was said about it, but I think, that about the portal. So it basically says that there are also some keys.
3 keys.
3 keys, but what?
And 1 key is in the possession of the king. It helps them go to other dimensions, the keys. And the fact is that she also had riddles to solve, with the Eye of Velina and so on. And she figured out that there was 1 key in the crown of Velina, and that is actually the key that the king has.
Yeah.
The knocker Mort told her that.
Yeah.
A knocker called Mort.
Yeah.
Very, dead.
I think that was kind of cute, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I found that Mort to be cute, even though very unhelpful. He's
sarcastic little asshole is what you would call it, but yeah.
Love him. I want him as a pet. Yeah. So obviously the king, he's trying to do something with the dimensions, and that's probably how this key must have somehow helped him to keep the magic away, to just get rid of it.
And gather his own army through that magic as well.
And also Keltane is a big part of this, which is interesting.
Yeah. Keltane and
Roland,
both I think are being controlled in some way to some degree. With Keltane, we already knew that in book 1 with Duke Barrington, yes, not the asshole, and but I don't think the asshole is being controlled. I think he's doing it willingly, the Duke.
It does seem like it.
It does seem like it.
Yeah, it does I do get that feeling. And also, Celaena realized that Roland and Keltane, they both have these dreams, right? Of these, winged wings, something.
Yeah, I think they're... And as we got to know in book 1, the king is testing his control, in a way, in people. And we also got to know that Keltane had a magic user in her bloodline or something.
Yes, and so did Cain, the guy
So did Cain?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so does... what the fuck is his name?
Roland?
Roland?
Yeah.
Roland, yeah.
So
because
they're
he's,
all, I feel like
related.
they're all potential magic users.
So maybe that's why it works.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why magic works on them, because they're all potential magic users, or they have a bloodline of magic users.
And imagine if the king realized that his son can also control magic, that he already can control magic. He could probably he would probably want to control him too.
Or use him as a means to assert his dominance even more. I mean,
Yeah.
usually you raise a son to be your...
Yeah, but he knows that Dorian would never listen to him.
You can always do mind control.
Well, exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
He could
yeah,
do the
you
same
in that
thing
way.
to him.
Yeah, of course, yeah. As a
Yeah.
mindless puppet going to further his agenda.
I'm worried
Yeah.
for my boy Dorian, like, really. Okay.
He's getting smarter.
Yeah, he is.
Also, I think he's Endgame, and I'm kind of fucking annoyed still about it, but it's fine.
Move on.
No! No, I have a perfectly good couple.
Read the third book. That's all I'm gonna say.
Do they introduce a new character? I'm gonna be so angry if there's a new
No,
guy.
I did not say that. Jesus, I'm just saying that maybe if you read the third book, you might get some answers.
I was trying to goad answers out of you with that.
Well,
statement.
that's not gonna happen. So I'm good. Okay. I'm not obsessed with myself, guys. I'm not.
Humble.
Humble, yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. That and another thing that we should discuss: the witches. So. In this book, we learn a little bit more about the witches. We learn that there are two types of witches. So the iron teeth, they're like vicious, and they obviously have teeth that are very sharp and dangerous. And they're like
babies.
Yeah, they're very
maybe-
dark.
Or maybe was that... I didn't understand. I know that just Selena was very scared of that witch in the carnival. And she was an iron...
Yeah, the thing is that Celaena encountered a witch in the prequel. So she knows a little bit about witches, and she kind of knows to be, to stay clear of them. But
It
yeah,
was the same type of witch as the witch in the carnival?
I don't remember. But yeah, the other group of witches are the Croatian witches. I think it's Croatian pronounced.
Don't look at me.
I hate that
Don't
name.
look at me. I don't know this pronunciation. Where the fuck she's getting
But
them from?
I
names
feel
and
like
everything.
Iron Teeth, it's such a good actually name. I feel like Iron Teeth is badass, but Croatian, that's just weird. Where did she get that from? It's awful. And I think
I would get if it was a coven of witches, something with that. But I don't fucking know.
I mean, what do you mean a coven? A coven is a coven, but Croatian is the name of the group.
Yeah, but what the fuck does that mean? What does the name
Well,
mean?
Croatian are different. What does it doesn't mean anything, but yeah, Croatian are different. They're kinder. They're more like in tune with nature, I think. The type of witches that we read in fairy tales about, I think. Well, the other ones are just monstrous. And the Iron Teeth, they kind of overruled the Croatian witches. So now, I'm not sure, is it said that the Croatian witches are kind of extinct, or are they just not, like, dispersed and no one really...
I think no one really knows. I think it's
Oh.
implied like they were extinct, but I don't think they are. In this kind of books, it's always something is implied, but then somehow, somewhere in the plot, you get that character and you're like, huh.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, yeah, so basically, but the Iron Teeth, they're the ones that are still, thriving.
Because they were more aggressive and...
Yeah. And Dorian, the smart boy that he is, he goes and talks to one and thinks that, of course, she's not gonna want to... she's not gonna tell anyone about it. And the moment Celaena enters the tent, she's like, I can, tell you what Dorian wanted to know for a price. So, of course, Celaena in that moment realizes that she has to kill the witch. Otherwise, she's just gonna basically spill Dorian's secrets to anyone who offers her,
And that may go to the king, and
Yeah.
he may be in very big trouble then.
Exactly, especially because Dorian was asking about magic, about... and it's kind of obvious. Oh, yeah, I'm just wondering, just hypothetically. Bitch!
Asking for a friend, Nina. How dare you assume?
Oh my god, Dorian, sweet, sweet boy. I mean...
Naive.
But I kind of, again,
Sheltered.
No, but I kind of understand. He's, like, desperate. Who is he gonna ask, Like, literally, there is no one. At that point, Nehemia didn't offer yet. So he didn't,
true.
and he's not close to her. He doesn't know anything about her. Why would he think she knows something?
True.
So, I mean, the witch is really the only option. So he had to kind of risk it. but it's a bit of risk. But yeah, anyway, Celaena goes to the witch, and also this witch is actually a really important witch. I'm not sure what she says exactly, but she's part of the Yellow Legs clan. So inside, like, the Iron Teeth, they have 3 clans, I think, and Yellow Legs is one of the clans. And I think she's actually I don't know if she's the queen of the Yellow Legs or just like a really important, part of them. And Celaena kills her. So, do we think that that's gonna bite her in the ass?
Of course it will.
Possibly. I mean, that's what I thought when she murdered her.
It actually depends on what kind of relationship that witch have, or what kind of hierarchy they have.
I mean, we have to learn more about them.
So,
for sure.
Maybe it won't, but usually it does. Usually this kind of books, this does bite you in the ass along the way.
Yeah, probably. We'll see. But yeah, I think that fight actually with the witch was really cool, because the witch was really scary.
Yeah.
I don't remember the details, but I just do remember that when I was reading that, I was kind of, this is
really?
so...
But that's not the fight that stayed with me. What I got was when it was the anniversary of her parents' death, and she just went off the rails in the mines of Endgame, and how she took a pitchfork,
right, that
killed
memory.
the guard, and went on, killed 4 more, and she was going... It needs to be a pitchfork, because that's what they did to the woman that helped her.
Yes, that was so good.
They need to feel it. And then she broke free, went out. They were trying to shoot her, obviously not injure her too much, because the king wanted her alive to live out the punishment.
Yeah.
And in the end, she was just madly laughing there, and she killed 4 more guards. And I was like, good on you, even though you didn't touch the wall, good on you.
I know, but the thing is that she didn't even want to touch the wall. Her intention was to kill herself.
Yeah, to climb it so they would force them to kill her. But then when she saw there were 40 guards coming in from all sides, and she saw the plan, that's when she lost it.
Yeah. But it was kind of sad, because in the first book, we thought that, she was just, she really tried to escape and that's it. But no, it was deeper than that. She really just wanted to end her misery, which is so sad.
It was a mental breakdown, and not just misery, it's also revenge.
Yeah. I mean, she wanted, to take as much of them as possible with her.
And remember the faces of the people that raped her friend.
Yeah.
And then butchered her in such a grotesque way. She was like, yeah, you're gonna get it back.
Yeah.
She could have stolen a sword. She didn't. She wanted it to be a pitchfork.
I know. Emotionally, that fight stayed with me too. But the witch just stayed with me because she's so gross, and so spooky. In that way. And another thing that really stayed with me was when she went to Nehemiah's grave and she sang that song in their language that's long lost or whatever. And I don't know, that was I think I cried there. I think that's the first time that I actually really cried about Nehemiah, because up until then, Celaena was just so caught up in her rage, that you didn't even get to process the emotion she was feeling. But there, she really let herself feel it, and it was just super sad. And Chaol, actually, he saw her and he realized that, she was singing in this language, and he went to the library and he wanted to know, what it was. He asked the librarian, and the librarian told him that this is actually a language that's spoken by the royals of Terrasen.
Oh, wow.
So that's the first clue that he got, that Celaena was kind of obviously royalty, and that might put her in danger, because if she has any kind of a claim to the throne, she might pose a threat to the king. So that was already a first clue that Celaena's more.
I forgot that he went to look it up.
Yeah, he did.
That was my brain just skipped that part. Now that you mention it, I remember it.
I think he wanted to just pay tribute to Nehemiah in that kind of ways, and he was also just curious, about the languages. Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense now. I don't remember why
I love the clues, by the way. I love the Easter eggs.
You know what I hate? When you read it and you're so into it, and you sometimes just okay, this is unimportant. But then when you go and talk it through, and you're like, oh wait, no, that part made sense in that way, and that was connected to that, and then you're just like, I need to read it again.
Yeah.
I will probably read it again now.
Exactly. And now when you read it, and when you read these books the second time, it's actually sometimes even better, because you kind of know what to look for, and it's so interesting because, oh my gosh, yes, it's good. It's good. That's why rereading books like this is actually fun. Okay, so this is another thing. When she went to rescue Chaol, that was also a really good moment, because I feel like that was just such a trauma for her. Sam died and she couldn't help him, and now Chaol was taken away, and it's the same thing, he might also die a brutal death and she can't do anything about it. And it's just such a good moment when she says, Every one of the restraints she'd locked into place after she'd rampaged through Endovir snapped free. An icy, endless rage swept through her, wiping away everything except the plan that she could see with brutal clarity. The killing calm, a Robin Hamill had once called it. Even he had never realized just how calm she could get when she went over the edge. If they wanted Adderlin's assassin, they'd get her, and word helped them when she arrived.
Oh, that was also badass.
Oh
that was
my
so
gosh.
badass. And I really like it that in this part of the story, the guy is the damsel in distress.
Yeah, I do too.
I like it. It doesn't demasculine him in any way. It just makes the love story that more wholesome. If only they didn't fuck it up.
Yeah, she's gonna struggle with this for a while, I think.
Sarah, why? Why?
It'll all make sense in the end.
Will it really make sense?
It will.
This is what everybody who read the story keeps telling me. It's gonna make sense, Eva. Calm down. I'm like, you're telling me my ship doesn't happen. Why the fuck would I be calm?
This is so good, guys. This is so good. I'm gonna transform this into a reel. Okay, and I had this screenshot too about what we weren't sure about before when she was discussing it with the witch. So the person who holds all 3 word keys would have control over the broken word gate and all Arealea. They would be able to open and close the gate at will. They could conquer new worlds or let in all sorts of life to bend to their cause. But even one key could make someone immensely dangerous. Not enough power to open the gate, but enough to be a threat. You see, the keys themselves are pure power. Power to be shaped as the wielder wills it. Tempting, isn't it?
Well, that makes sense why the king is so powerful.
Exactly, and why he was able to eradicate magic. I mean, that's so crazy.
Yeah, of course. You do something with the help of magic. Eradicate magic with the help of magic. Of course, the other way it doesn't go.
Yes. Another thing that I want to read before we finish. So basically, it was really cool when... it wasn't cool. It was stupid from her point of view, but still, when Celaena opened the gate to speak to Nehemia, right? It's like, girl, don't do that. This is gonna bite you in the ass. This is gonna
blow up in your face.
This is gonna be so bad. But still, it was kind of cute for her to get that, closure in a way. And also, it was really cute when Fleetwood was with her, the dog. And
the dog is so cute, though. I love a dog.
I can't believe we didn't discuss this in the first book. We forgot.
Yeah,
the fact that Dorian gifted her the dog.
Yeah, but now we get the rescue of the dog. Okay?
By the way, that was traumatic for me. I thought he was gonna die. And I was like, if this dog dies, I will not be reading this anymore.
But props to Chaol. He went after the dog.
Yeah, that's true.
He went after Chaol.
That's such a big plus for Chaol. And the fact that Dorian has a whole kennel of puppies and he gifted her one.
Puppies.
And I mean, Dorian, come on.
I'm just stuck on the cute little puppies.
I know, but he has them and he gifted her one. That's
Remember
so nice.
your dog when he was small?
No, I do, but I don't want to think about it too much because I'm gonna cry. Okay.
He was cute, wasn't he?
Yes, he was so cute. So much skin, too much skin, And just such a, he was super black and we had a black couch and you couldn't see him when he sat on that couch and it was so cute. And then I remember one time my mom sat a bit on his tail and he just a bit squeak, and my mom almost broke because she stepped on his tail.
You're getting tears in your eyes when you talk about your
He's my baby. Oh, okay, but yeah, it was so cute to see Nehemia say goodbye to the dog too. And then she said, Elentia, so this is the name Nehemia gave Celaena. Nehemia paused to look back at her. The void seemed to be swirling, swallowing her up bit by bit. You will not understand yet, but I knew what my fate was to be, and I embraced it. I ran toward it, because it was the only way for things to begin changing, for events to be set in motion. But no matter what I did, Elentia, I want you to know that in the darkness of the past 10 years, you were one of the bright lights for me. Do not let that light go out.
Aww. Oh, it's also so wholesome.
Oh, that's so wholesome. The fact that she said, do not let that light go out, that's so beautiful because I feel like that's also in life. When something bad happens to you, kind of a darkness sets in, but you just really have to push through it to stay the kind and warm person you always were before that happened to you, right? And this is such a sweet moment. I love their friendship, even though at the beginning I wasn't sure about it, but I love them and...
Yeah, it came together really well.
Yeah.
and I really like this book. It's again a bit of a slow start, you know? But once you get into it, the drama and everything, it pulls you in.
Yes.
And it's really captivating. I liked it.
Great. I love that for you, because I liked both of these first two books. Like, I really did. But, you know, they were like fun books for me. That's it. Nothing special, you know what I mean? But from the third book on, this series just transforms into another level. It becomes so much more.
Yeah, but on the third book, we have 3 different perspectives, because Dorian stays at the palace, castle, whatever is it called.
Yeah.
And then both Chaol and Celaena go different ways. If I remember correctly, right?
Celaena, of course, she goes, to that kingdom that she was sent to now. Chaol stays, but he does make a bargain with his father that he will eventually come back to their, Westfall estate.
Oh, maybe that's what
you mean, probably.
Yeah, maybe that's what I got.
Yeah,
I thought he was going there already.
No.
It's
But
gonna be
also another really big sacrifice from Chaol, that he actually was willing to sacrifice Celaena, and like he obviously is aware that he might never even see her again. Like, he wants to do that for her so that he saves her. That's another thing that's just amazing. Even though at the beginning Celaena didn't quite understand, she was like, well, I thought we were fine, and now he wants to send me away. That's weird. But Elena was the one who actually told her, this is his way of protecting you. So that was another like really good moment.
If you love them, let them go.
Yeah.
If they don't come back, they were never yours to begin with.
Yes.
Which is like kind of bullshit.
But
okay.
Okay, fine, right? And like I said, from the third book on, this becomes something else, because I feel like the two books have this kind of like teenager vibe. Even though some serious shit is happening, it's still kind of like, they're so young and they have like this love triangle, stuff like that. But the second book is a bit more, but still. But from the third book, it becomes like more serious, like on the level of Lord of the Rings series, and like just more is introduced, like a whole
you have
level.
a whole much more world building, I assume. A lot more places, a lot more names. Sarah, why? It's gonna be annoying again. I just know it. I'm not gonna pronounce shit.
I'm actually thinking right now, if anything is, Aelin, actually her first name is better than Celaena, I think, because it's Aelin. It's Aelin. With Celaena, it's like you don't know how to pronounce that. So I don't know. I don't think there's any characters that are gonna have really complicated names, or right now maybe I don't remember, but we'll see. I think I'm actually gonna, for the next episode, I think I'm gonna read the third book.
We can do it together.
So it's gonna be really stuck in my head, and it's a good book, so why not? And it's been a while, So guys, we've come to an end, I think. Hopefully we've discussed everything we wanted. If you have any thoughts, any comments, of course, let us know. And thanks so much for listening. Tune in. We are not sure when we'll be releasing the discussion for the third book, just because we're so busy. We'll try to do it as soon as possible, but just stay tuned. Obviously, it's going to be posted on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Overcast, and Amazon. So
what the fuck is Overcast?
I don't know. It's an American thing,
okay,
I think.
Sorry.
It's going to be posted everywhere, so just subscribe, okay? And you'll get a notification. Also, like this video and just support my channel. It means a lot and it's helpful. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
And see you next time. Bye.
Bye.